Big Dreams, Little Chairs by JChamberlain. Big Dreams, Little Chairs, an elaborate autobiography written in third person, just to confuse everyone involved, about a witty, somewhat overwhelmed, yet contagiously optimistic pre-service teacher. That's a quote by JChamberlain about herself. One day, in the middle of a jam-packed weekly routine, a young lady found herself lost in direction. Obviously, we're not referring to her terrible sense of direction and inability to read a map or communicate effectively with Siri. No, this direction was a much deeper kind. She was well aware of all her commitments, previous and forthcoming, as they were obviously obsessively written out and colour-coded in her personal planner. But what she began to question was the substance of her activities. As the great self-appointed social media philosophers always told us, if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Well, that was not the case for this young, blossoming 19-year-old. She worked, oh did she work. She was the first one to get to the over-air-conditioned, stress-riddled law firm. She was the last one to leave. And to this day, she argues she was the only one to put dirty dishes in the dishwasher. There was something about working every day in this line of work that just didn't sit right with her. She needed a change, and she needed it quick. At the time, her only real escape was her social hockey club. She was lucky enough to be blessed with a coaching opportunity for a junior hockey team, the Stars. They wore the brightest of red shirts and had matching smiles on their faces. The Stars struggled through round after round, losing games to the point of exhaustion. The young players never complained though, and made their coach quite proud of the effort they put in. One fine afternoon, with their bellies filled with sugar and their faces as red as the shirts on their backs, a loose ball passed the forward line and skimmed across the sweat-glistened floor right into the path of the least confident player on the team. Their coach called out one final almighty, "Have a go! Go for goal!" And just as quickly as the ball shook the back of the net, the tears ran down her face. She had travelled such a long journey through both ups and downs with this group of junior players and was completely overwhelmed at their final success. The pride and great satisfaction that came from starting at the very start with a mismatched group of children and every week encouraging them to never give up was so rewarding. She wanted to do it all over again. Then it hit her. I could do this for a living. She gathered information on what seemed like the biggest decision of her life. So many universities, so many different course structures, and the big sacrifice, so little money. Could she really leave her full-time employment? Could she get back into the habit of studying? For a whopping 4 years? I wonder. Like all huge decisions in her life, she had an unbeatable mindset. And by that, I don't mean that she had a great mindset that others did not have. No, she simply did not accept being beaten. Applying was her only option. This hurdle in life she was determined to overcome. After applying, she eagerly waited for a response to be sent her way. It consumed her thoughts day in and day out. Then the unthinkable happened. An unopened, bold-lettered email sat in her inbox. Here goes nothing. And just like that, the future little Miss Chamberlain was born. She jumped from her wheelie chair with excitement. This was it. This was who she was meant to be, and this was her dream. With so much overwhelming excitement, she told her boss she quit and was going to university. The boss, after congratulating her, asked her more specific details, like a start date, and offered advice on not being so dramatic and forgetting there was months between these 2 points. The months passed and it was time, a fresh start on a very long and enduring journey, but she was ready. She went to orientation day, and her first few classes, she felt so motivated and so positive. She could do this. 4 years is a long time, but not without amazing support. Drum roll, please, for Shivo and the Pussycats. That's right, she met a group of people and they created a self-appointed band name. But hey, whatever gets you through. She would like to take the opportunity to express how grateful she is for Shivo and every one of the Pussycats, because they were the ones that kept her from walking away from her study when times got grey. Future Miss Chamberlain had a very consuming and difficult semester, about halfway through her study. Confusion about units saw her trying to complete subjects that were way beyond her ability, and unfortunately one was withdrawn and another failed. At the time, she was so overwhelmed by a destructive series of events in her personal life. She disclosed that there came a point where she felt like withdrawing her enrollment from the course. Cue Shivo and the Pussycats, who supported her above and beyond to stay positive, and they did not allow her to give up. She battled through the remainder of the year and came to terms with the fact she would have to do extra units and complete them. The following 2 years could not have been a better experience for the future Miss Chamberlain. She blossomed in her placement and made unforgettable relationships with all students who crossed her path. She had the mentor teacher of fairy tales and was not prepared to let anything get in her way. She journeyed through 4th year subjects with Shivo and the Pussycats, experiencing the depths of learning outside the classroom, portfolios, and fantastic day trip excursions. She saw her lifelong friends write applications, go to interviews, and get jobs. It was somewhat hard to know that because of her challenging time midway through her course, she would not finish with most others, but to this day she is excited. For Miss Chamberlain, a witty, somewhat overwhelmed, yet contagiously optimistic pre-service teacher, the best is yet to come. Wow, what a story! Hi, I'm JChamberlain, the woman behind the storybook. Even though you've just heard many details about my journey through my teaching adventure, I would like to expand on a few things. Just after the moment I hit submit on my first unit enrolments for semester 1 in the very first year of my degree, I came across a picture, and the picture said, "What if the cure for cancer is trapped inside the mind of someone who can't afford an education?" This statement holds a very significant place in my heart, as I am a firm believer that every child, every individual, deserves equal opportunity and equal guidance when it comes to their education. The statement can be applied quite broadly to the necessity of education availability in third world countries. However, I find myself on a daily basis, during planning, within my lessons, reflecting on the idea. As a teacher, it is my goal to allow each student within my class, my school, and even the community an equal opportunity to reach their full potential. By this statement, I'm referring to an individual's academic, social, emotional, physical, and developmental potential. I believe classroom management is important. However, I also believe that by showing students that you respect them as individuals and are willing to give them an equal opportunity of your commitment, they will in return respect you and respect their learning progress within any environment. Being a teacher in a classroom or a specialist class, I acknowledge it is my own responsibility to continually develop my knowledge within the curriculum and practice. I must also encourage a set of positive values and beliefs and build trust relationships with students, parents, and the wider community. Contribute effectively within a team whilst maintaining a professional manner, and seek out and accept and move forward from constructive criticism or feedback. I believe John Dewey summarises my position quite accurately by concluding that if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's students, we rob tomorrow. I believe that even though I have developed a set of teaching and learning values, it is imperative to identify that a teaching philosophy is ongoing and ever-changing. Throughout my teaching years, I hope to continue to develop my personal philosophy by widening my professional knowledge, planning effectively, working to the strengths of my various teaching teams, and providing as well as accepting constructive feedback. Over the course of my 4 years of study, there have been many influential theorists and educational advisors and some amazing Monash academics that I have discovered or been guided by during my study. Some of the most relevant to me personally include Vygotsky's social cultural theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, obviously John Dewey, Gardner's multi-intelligences and catering for differentiation, JChamberlain for maths, George Booker for maths, Julie Shepard's Cafe and Voices, William Glass's choice theory, and assisting students to take responsibility for their learning. This philosophy, as an overall goal, is a perfect made-up scenario, I guess. For me, this is not the end of my further education, and as the story goes, the best is yet to come. Good afternoon, class.